about mental health.
I chose to lean into my skills to build a bridge of communication and opportunity for those within my community.
Thanks to my determination, I now hold my master's degree in finance.
I've been able to use the visibility of my titles to share my family's story while also influencing passing of legislation.
En mi caso, como figura pública, el trabajar y apoyar diferentes causas sociales me ha ayudado a fundamentar más mi sentido de liderazgo.
Especially when it comes to giving a voice to kids with special needs.
I've donated everything from food, clothing, and school supplies to the women in impoverished villages of Ghana.
I created my own platform and my own campaign called She Can, where I want to empower women to be strong.
I am the head coach of Bahamas Speed Dynamics, Speed Kids Track Club.
Trabajo para reducir la brecha que existe entre talentos y oportunidades en el mercado laboral.
I have also been a mentor to the younger generation of the Cayman Islands.
I came from being an insecure young girl with an eating disorder and developed myself into a strong, confident woman.
The day I decided to love myself, I became the leader of my life.
Any woman that has the capacity to share her own power and strength is the kind of woman that inspires me.
One of my biggest inspirations is
Alexandria Ocasio,
Michelle Obama.
A woman I deeply admire is Sandra Kaufman, Air Science Division Director at NASA.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand.
The woman that I admire led with kindness and treated everyone as equals. Mother to founding father Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, Madame Chua Jim-Yu.
Angela Merkel, the first woman chancellor of Germany.
Admiro el liderazgo de Angela Merkel y se ha convertido en una de las máximas líderes a nivel mundial.
Our first and only woman president. It is Mrs. Megawati Sukarnoputri.
My teacher when I graduated.
She used to travel to Egypt a couple of times a year to help the refugee moms and their children. She made me realize that we are all here in this world for a reason.
There's nothing that we cannot do as women.
It is time we dismantle the culture of distrust in women as leaders.
In order for us to allow women to have access in taking up leadership positions in our country,
we need to be focusing on tackling the social and systemic issues that create barriers to it in the first place.
Governments and societies need to work hand in hand to help them garner confidence by campaigning to increase awareness and representation.
Education is a prerequisite to be a great leader.
Now it is high time that we walk the talk,
believe in girls from an early age,
and foster their potential. Young girls should be encouraged to dream big and envision themselves doing great and meaningful things.
Solo cuando la empatía sustituye las ansias de dominar, el liderazgo será un tema humano, no de géneros.
We are the power of the universe.
I would like to wish you all a happy International Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day!
Happy International Women's Day.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our Kingdom Coffee Talk. Tonight, we are going to talk about International Women's Day 2021. And this year's hashtag is hashtag Choose to Challenge. So in conjunction with International Women's Day, we actually have brought three special guests to have a discussion and to just have a short conversation to see what International Women's Day mean to them. Right. So what is International Women's Day? International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. Significant activity is witnessed worldwide as groups come together to celebrate women's achievement and also to rally for women's equality. Every year, International Women's Day is celebrated on the 8th of March. And it is a day where we celebrate the achievements of women to also raise awareness for women equality, lobbying and accelerating gender parity, and also a lot of fundraising costs will be happening on this day as well. So today we have three special guests for you. We have Nisha, we have Natalie, and also Fabes. So without further ado, let's bring them on screen to discuss and talk to you more about International Women's Day. Hi, Fabes.
What's up, brother?
Hi, Nisha. Hi, Nat.
Hi. Hi.
You know,
How
I got to
you guys
learn.
been?
Sorry, go on.
How
We're
you guys
good.
been? Good, huh?
Good.
So thanks for being on our Kingdom Coffee Talk today. Thanks for showing support to International Women's Day. I think only me and Fabes is a bit out of place here.
Correct, man. I love women.
Yeah, me too. There's two bald guys here, right? And two beautiful women here. I still have a bit of hair though. Yeah.
Hey, okay,
So-
let's not get started there.
Okay. So maybe Fabes, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, how have you been during this COVID period, pandemic period?
Wow, it's been a crazy time, I tell you. You know, ever since last year, March, you know, when we all went into the lockdown, it was not easy, actually. I thought it was going to be easy peasy, such a breeze, you know, doing the show from home. How difficult could it be? 2 weeks into it, I was feeling very frustrated. I was feeling very... and my wife is amazing, though. I have to say this. Because without fail, she wakes up, she does this, she does that, she cooks, she, you know, literally like everything's all right. But for me, everything was not all right. And then one fine day, I'm telling the story for the first time on air or in public. One fine day, right, dude, I realized something is not right with me. My blood pressure was going through the roof. I'm like, what is going on? So I called my doctor, and my doctor says, come in for a checkup. I went for a checkup. I did a blood test. Everything was fine. And he started talking to me, and I realized, and he realized that I was going through this massive amounts of stress that I didn't even know I had. For the first time, I needed aid to go to sleep. I was like, wow. So it was a tough time. But I tell you, throughout the entire thing, like a champion, my wife is here by the side, right? She was there, like, you know, she was there trying to keep me calm, trying to make me happy, you know, trying to do things that would help me relax. So, you know, I guess at the end of the day, I would like to say that women are all champions, lah. So that's my little story, lah. Huh? What happened during the pandemic? Yay!
Very good closing to your story, bro. Huh?
Thank you.
You brought it all together like a real professional. It's an opening.
Yeah, it's an opening, right?
So, Nisha, what about you? Is everything okay?
Everything's great. And I just wanted to commend you, actually, Edmund, because I love the fact that we are talking about International Women's Day and there's equal representation, right? There's guys and there's girls. Because to be a feminist, you don't have to be a woman. To celebrate women, you don't have to be a woman. And you know exactly what Fabe says, when you are on the receiving end of what is good and the results of that, it's a testament to it. So, you know, kudos to you, sir, for being a genius with this coffee talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, before we move into the topic, let's hear from Nat. How are you, Nat?
My favorite radio DJ.
Thank you. You're my favorite as well, and so are you, Nisha. It's like a mini radio reunion that's happening.
I
on
know,
Coffee
right?
Talk. Like a mini one. We need a bit more people, and then we'd have a full one. I'm okay. I'm good. Ever since, well, for those of you that don't know, I used to be a radio announcer, and then now I'm a business owner. And during MCO, it was super, super difficult for me because both of my businesses, unfortunately, could not operate. So I kind of pivoted. I hate that word, but I pivoted and started public speaking and communication coaching. So far, for the last maybe 11 months or so, I've been completely focused on doing that as a woman, as a little entrepreneur. So yeah, I give myself a pat on the back for that one.
That's good. Wow. Business owners, women business owners. Yeah, I mean, we need more of those. where we need more women, strong women. So let's dive straight into the topic, right? Dive straight into the topic, International Women's Day. Shall we start with Fabes?
Why lah,
Since
hey?
no, because we don't want to go with the norm, ladies first. So we want to go with the bald guy first.
Right, you try to make it different, I say.
Yeah, we want to make it different. So, what does International Women's Day mean to you, Fabes?
That is a tough question. What does international? You see, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know how to explain this, but I guess it is a great springboard, I would say, to start to create awareness. Now, when I say awareness, right, it doesn't necessarily mean for men to understand women or to accept them in the workplace or to give them equal pay. I don't mean that. I also mean that it's a springboard to create awareness for women themselves. You know, I think it's a great springboard. But what happens after International Women's Day? Everything goes quiet. Just like Mother's Day, Father's Day, you know, everything goes quiet. And then what happens? And then who's doing what? You know, so I think it's a great platform. It's a great start. You know, it happens every year. Every year we celebrate International Women's Day. We see these amazing women come online or on TV and talk about their stories and tell these things, and then it just goes quiet. And I would like to be educated. I would like to know, because I myself would like to know, you know, why is it so difficult for a woman in, let's talk about the workplace. All right. Let's talk about a woman in the workplace. See, the way I see it, there are two people, two different beings, man and a woman, completely different in many ways. But that doesn't necessarily mean they can't do the same thing, right? We all know that for a fact. So I think it's all about educating, and education is very, very important. I've heard women themselves say things like, nothing lah, you know, get married already, have kids, stay at home lah, take care of the family. And then keep my dreams all inside. And then, you know, what happens after that, right? So I think it's education. So I think when you ask me what International Women's Day is, I was about to tell you a whole story, but I realized that's not the question, because I can go on for 5 hours. So that's why I held back, and I'm coming back. To me, it's a great platform. It's a great springboard. Now the whole world has heard about this. The whole world has seen interviews and all these things. What are we going to do after this? So that's what it means to me. It means that it's a great springboard. That's it.
I mean, every single year, every single year it's celebrated, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, like I totally agree with you. No, it's like Valentine's Day, right? It is just that one day, all the prices are hiked up.
Correct.
Right? It's just that one day the roses are double the price, the restaurants, the cafes are full, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, I proposed to my wife on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it should be celebrated on a daily basis.
But we don't celebrate Valentine's Day ever.
Okay, that's actually a good plan. That's a good plan, actually.
It was that hype. It was that hype. On that one day, I got down on my knees in a restaurant. Everybody clapped. I was like, wow. And the next year came. Do we really celebrate Valentine's Day? No. And we never did after that. So that's what I'm saying. It's a great springboard, but where are we going to take it from here?
Let's hear it from the women then. Nat, do you want to go first? What IWD? What does it mean to you?
Well, to me, I guess essentially it's a day to kind of, you know, acknowledge and honor and, you know, celebrate the women around the world for the contributions that they make to society or their communities, etc., etc. And I agree a lot with Fabes, actually. You know, you celebrate it one day and then it's silence after that. It should be celebrated every day, along with Father's Day, Mother's Day, Teacher's Day, Children's Day, every single day, including the 8th of March. And yes, it is a springboard for you to kind of raise awareness, but the conversation needs to keep going. I think that is pretty essential here.
Nisha?
Yeah, so I you know, I'm part Natalie, and I'm part like I disagree, right? So I think it's a great day to kind of commemorate. Oh no, to commemorate how far women have come from. I think we have to realize that At one point, women authors couldn't even be acknowledged as women authors. We had to have men's names. We couldn't vote. Never mind women, then minority women, right? And then where was the representation? Where's the voices? But I think here's where I disagree. I think International Women's Day today should be celebrated more than anything else because women are running their own businesses. Just in this small group in itself, we've got a woman business owner. We've got women running NGOs. We've got multinational CEOs who are women. We are talking about the Sheryl Sandbergs of the world, the new Spotify CEO. We're talking about an all-female cabinet that's happening in Finland. There's so many advances and there's so many, even in Astro itself, right now, the head of the English network, woman. And we've never heard of something like that. In our decades. So I think it's a very exciting time. I think it's a time of celebration. And I do think it is about representation. And because it is coming from top up, so management has to have women within their boards because there are still companies where it's very male-centric. And when you don't have representation, you can't have those voices heard.
I have a quick question. Representation is one thing. Pretending to have representation is a whole different thing. You get what I mean? I hope you get what I mean. Hey, sure, we need to have a lady CEO, right? Now, whether this lady CEO, she's obviously very capable. Whether this lady CEO would enjoy, let's just leave it at that level. Enjoy the perks as a male CEO, we won't know, right? But hey, I have a woman representing my company. The U.S. World Cup, the U.S. Football team, soccer team, the female soccer team. You know how many World Cups they've won? And you know why they're fighting so hard for equal pay and all that? Yeah, they represent the country. But then at the end of the day, when the World Cup is over, nobody gets half of what they deserve. So like I said, representation is great, but what kind of representation? You know what I mean?
So, if I got you correctly, right, Fabes, what you're trying to say is there are people who are putting women up there just for the sake of marketing. Is that what you're trying to say?
I will not disagree.
Yeah, it means my company, my company,
yes.
We have a woman CEO, we fight for gender equality, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Food for thought or can of worms.
Yeah, I think there's puppets everywhere
Probably
you
a
go.
can of worms.
I agree with that at some point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this year's hashtag. This year's hashtag is choose to challenge, right? The first time I saw that hashtag, to me it sounds quite aggressive, lah. It's like, of course there are a lot of meanings to it, right? Challenge gender equality, but the sound of it, choose to challenge, is like you're trying to go against the system. It's like you're trying to. You're trying. I know you guys. I know it's trying to make your voice heard and everything. But choose to challenge is it a good hashtag to have? Nisha?
I think it's a great hashtag. Yeah, go on, Natalie or Nisha. Yeah.
Yeah, I chose to challenge that hashtag as well, because it almost sounds like we're at a disadvantage, and I don't think women are at a disadvantage anymore. I think women are supporting women. I think women are stronger than ever. I think even in corporate settings, even in my own office, most of the leadership in the office is women. I think right now, whether we're talking about challenges, yes, there's still, there's not equal pay. There's still a lot of work to be done. But I agree with you, Edmund. I feel like it sounds like such a struggle to be a woman in this day and age. Whereas I feel differently. I feel like it's a celebration, to be honest. And I think more and more women are being appreciated in the workplace for, and this is not me being sexist. This is just a few things that I've heard from male bosses saying that they don't have to deal with egos with women in the workplace. that they are more attentive, that they're more detail oriented, that they keep their head down and get the job done, right? So a lot of the times, I think there's a lot of men who are also appreciating women in the workplace. So yeah, I have to agree with you. I don't feel like we have to challenge so much. We still have a ways to go, but we've come a long way.
Yeah, because when you use the word challenge, you are in a way putting yourself a level lower.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with
So
that.
that's why when I saw the hashtag, I was like, okay.
But then again, if you look at it from a positive light, you're always challenging yourself to take yourself to that next level. I mean, the next level there is no end to the next level, right? It's always a challenge. Look at it from a positive point of view. Then, to me, I look at that hashtag, and I say challenge is basically the challenge to educate people about what's really going on. I keep saying educate, right? And even women themselves. Sorry, Nat, cannot hear you.
I agree with you. Just to challenge the people that are not educated, challenge them to, find themselves more aware of gender bias and also gender equality. Fun fact for you, we celebrate Women's Day, International Women's Day every single year, right? But we've been celebrating it for over 100 years. And yet no country is actually near achieving full gender equality. The closest that I read recently was Iceland. I don't know how recent the article was. Iceland is the closest to achieving full gender equality. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have a country like Yemen, where some women are not even allowed to go out the house without asking for the permission from their husband or a man. So, we're on our way there, but essentially for me, I think we have a very long way to go. So I think it's the challenge to tell people who are unaware of the subject matter to choose to challenge those sort of things.
Yeah, this brings me to my next question, actually. Do you think there will ever be gender equality in this world?
Why not? I think there will be one day. I may not live to see it, but yeah. Look, I agree that women can do things that men can do even better, maybe, or as good. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we need to sit down. Nisha was my boss. She was a great boss.
I actually wanted to ask you that question, actually.
I jumped the gun, did I?
No. Okay.
She was. And when she took over, we sat down and we had our first conversation together, right? She knew what she was doing. It's like I said, it's a journey. You put a man in a car and you put a woman in a car and you say, all right, go to Penang. Be there by 1 p.m., right? Some men would say, I need to get there, man. Get in the car, pick the fastest route, jump in and drive. Boom! And I'm in Penang. Ha! And then the woman might turn around and say, oh, wow. I need to get there by 1. Let's leave slightly earlier. Let's take the coastal road. While we are driving, maybe we stop for some durians, have a great journey, and still get there on time. It's just a different journey, same destination, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is people need to understand that. People need to understand that a woman can do a man's job. Let's just talk about jobs, as well as a man, just maybe differently. You expect that all the time. But then, boom! I come in and I have that flair, and I speak to you nicely instead of yelling. Examples, so please nobody get offended, okay? I'm not opening another can of worms here, but I'm just giving an example. Different people, different style. Everyone can do that job, man or a woman. So eventually, I believe that yes, you will see gender equality.
Okay, what about let's move a little bit out of workplace, right? Yeah. Gender equality out of the workplace. Will that ever happen, Nisha? Nat? Any one of you want to go first?
Okay, Nisha.
Hey, you stop letting me talk.
I think equality is it's a weird word, right? To be completely equal is utopia, and I don't think it's possible. For us to define gender roles, I think is a better way of putting it. So is gender roles evolving? Where some women are becoming the breadwinner and the men are becoming the homemakers. There are homes like that, right? Yep. And I think it's becoming a bit more fluid. But whether two people are ever going to be equal to each other. That's impossible.
Yep.
In a relationship, in the scale of things, you're always going to have an upper class. You're going to have a lower class. You're going to have, the people who are powerful, the people who are less powerful. You're always going to have these different levels. But I think it's understanding that in different scenarios, a woman can be in that different level. So whether it's going to be equal, no. Sometimes women are going to have the advantage. Sometimes men are going to have the advantage. Sometimes certain races, certain classes are going to have the advantage. So I think it's understanding how fluid it can be, because it's not as fluid like what Natalie is talking about in Yemen. It's not fluid at all, right? There's no opportunity to be fluid. But that's what we're trying to reach, not equality, but a kind of fluid situation where it could be either or.
I agree with you, Nisha. I mean, it cannot be completely, equal in that sense. But I'm just looking at it from a point, from the angle that if I can have one apple, why can't you? That kind of equality I'm looking at, because that is so. It happens on a daily basis. It's so close to home. That's what I was talking about. But yeah, you make a lot of sense.
Yeah, you put it actually essentially perfectly. I couldn't agree with you more.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, let's talk about personal experiences. Anything that you guys actually, I shouldn't use the word you guys, right? So anything that any one of us here actually experienced on a personal level, be it work or be it personal, that actually affected you, or that actually, in a way, represented non-equality.
Let me try.
Yes, Nat.
There are some moments in my career where I felt that there was genuine gender inequality. And it's an issue that I raised as well on my YouTube channel because I really wanted to speak about it. Sexual harassment in the workplace, I think, is something that really needs to be addressed and really needs to be, people need to be educated about this. Since the day that I started working at 18 or 19 years old, throughout radio and odd jobs here and there, I have encountered so many instances of sexual harassment, some from men who are even older than I am, old enough to be my father. So what I did was I tried to speak about it. And I think this is something that's prevalent in today's society, which nobody talks about because it's so taboo and, and people try to brush it off like it's nothing, but it should be addressed. That's my opinion and my point of view. What about you guys?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take this one. It's a double whammy for me, right? Because I'm a girl with a big mouth, right? And I'm also Indian, so I come off as the angry Indian girl every time.
Oh my God! Really?
Every time, right?
But you were never angry at the office.
I like where this is going.
Because I had you.
Okay.
But to be honest, it's difficult because women are expected to be softer. Women are expected to be not so disagreeable. And I have to admit, I am aggressive. When I am passionate about a point, oh God, forget about it, right? But you're allowed to be passionate. If it was a guy, you would have been commended for it, right? And they would say, oh, look at this guy. He's such a go-getter. He's such a, But if it is a woman, she's expected to conduct herself in a certain way. And I think that's still expected in the workplace as far as women in dealing with people.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Nisha. Sorry, you go on. Finish first.
Yeah. But I was just wrapping up, and that's exactly where I felt it. I'm not, Natalie, it is a curse to be as beautiful as you are, my friend. So yeah, it does. I've had a lot of beautiful friends who have had sexual harassment as a serious issue, but the angry Indian girl never experienced it. Maybe I was too angry all the time.
What you said is exactly what I meant. Nisha, when I was talking about this earlier on. This is what I mean by, you are allowed to be yourself. I mean, if you want to act a certain way with your husband in the house, manja manja, do all that's your private stuff. That's completely different. But you don't take that out and come in because I'm a woman outside. I need to put my head down and say yes all the time. I can't get angry. That was what I was trying to tell you. That was what I was trying to share just now. It's like that's being equal. If I am angry, I'm angry, right? If I'm upset, I'm upset. If I have an opinion, I have an opinion. And if I say it and everyone listens, then why not, when Nisha says it, everyone should listen just as well? Because if it's an opinion and it makes sense, and if it carries weight, then it should matter, right? That was what I was trying to share. So thank you for sharing the story, because that's exactly what I was trying to say.
I think
yeah.
I think men are praised when they get angry and they have an opinion. They're like, wow, so strong. But when women get angry and they have an opinion, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Is she PMSing? Is she okay?
No. I would disagree with you, Natalie. When you get to be my age, and when you get angry and you have an opinion, you're a grumpy old Indian man.
Grumpy old Indian man and grumpy Indian.
Okay, so
this is why we got along.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to put these two things together, right? Gender equality and sexual harassment. I'm just going to pull these two things together. When a girl says something to a guy, okay, in the workplace, it is considered flirting. But when a guy says something to a girl, similar things, it's considered harassment. So how can we pull these two things together, gender equality and sexual harassment? How are we going to balance it out?
That's a tough question, because
I think that's a beautiful question. Sorry,
go ahead. I've asked people this before, and the answer I get is that if he says something to me that makes me feel uncomfortable, then it could be, sexual harassment. All right. But if he says something to me that makes me feel good, then it's all right. So now I'm thinking to myself, how would I know? When am I going to say something that makes you feel good or makes you feel uncomfortable? In my mind, it may just come out genuinely, the way it is, right? And I didn't mean anything by it, but it made you feel uncomfortable.
But Fabes, to be honest, normally guys, when the girl says something, we always feel good.
Yeah, that's true.
But as girls,
even if a guy felt uncomfortable, no one's going to believe you.
Yeah. Who will say, hey, look at your face, who is going to flirt with you?
Exactly.
That's the thing, correct. But when it happens to women, so how do we balance it out? Is it like what Fabes say? It is very much on a personal level, right? It is very much on whether if on that at that particular time I feel good, then it's okay. What if I was having a bad day, and then that is considered harassment? So how do we really balance it out, Nisha?
I think it's very simple. Firstly, I'd like to address the girls versus the boys. I think you're right. It's very unfair, because in most circumstances, girls can get away with it, but it's still sexual harassment. You cannot comment physically on somebody on a professional level. You can't. So, and you don't know what offends and what doesn't. So just don't. You don't have to comment. In a professional setting, you need to communicate based on the projects that need to be done, the deadlines that need to be set, and all of that. When you're having your social circles outside that happen to be your colleagues, that's a separate thing altogether. Then I'm choosing to hang out with a colleague who now becomes a friend, right? But in those professional circumstances, and girls do it to girls as well. Like, I've had several girls call me babe in a professional setting, which I don't appreciate.
Such a common word, isn't it?
Yeah, because you don't know me.
Yeah.
Nor am I your babe. It's unprofessional. So a lot of the times, I think women as well, especially here, I think we need to we've got a long way to go as far as sexual harassment is concerned, because it happens on both ends. And yeah, it's about education. It's about choosing to challenge, I guess, guys.
Hey, there you go. I love how you brought it back.
Yeah. So, Natalie, do you have something to say about this? Because you brought up the whole thing about sexual harassment, right? So, what do you think?
You see, when it happened to me, it was things that I would never say to a member of the opposite sex. I would never comment on the shape of their butt or whatever it might be. No, you know, like that's not me. I'm not going to do that unless, you know, I see that there's an opportunity that you might like me too, etc., etc. I'll do this at a different time where I know, like, you know, feelings are mutual. If you're giving somebody unsolicited, random, lewd comments, then obviously not. And it's not just for the men, it's for the women as well. Stop it. You know, like, it's not double standard just because you're a woman. That's not what, you know, gender equality is all about. It is same standard for both. If you don't want it said to you, don't go and say it to other people, because that's just no, not in my books.
You heard Natalie loud and clear. Stop talking about how big my stomach is, okay? I'm just putting it out there. It's like every time, Macha, you gain weight, huh? Look at your stomach. Oh, man, really?
That's not nice too, you know? That's not nice.
I know, right? That's body shaming. Different subject, different day.
Okay,
with that smile, who could concentrate on anything else? You got a great smile.
Shiny head. No,
thanks.
Mine is as shiny as you already, bro.
Yeah, getting there.
Yeah, to all our viewers out there, if you have any questions for our three beautiful guests here, you can always comment below. I don't know where is it on your screen. It's either on your right, left, or below. It should be below, right? Yeah, so moving on. Living in a country like Malaysia, right? Living in a country like Malaysia, do you think we have progressed in terms of gender equality or even celebrating women? Do you think we have moved a lot?
I think we
over
have
the past 20 years, I would say.
Yeah.
We have?
We have moved, but very little.
Who wants to answer that?
I'm answering it. We have moved, but very little.
I guess for me, in my line of work and also the social circle that I keep, I often see, you know, equality. In the off chance, you know, that I don't see any equality, and this kind of happens very rarely with me, I actually make it a point to, you know, address the issue with the person in question. Before, when I was younger, in terms of sexual harassment, etc., I kept quiet because I was young and I was learning. But now, if you were to do it to me, I would really call you out on your behavior. But that's just my circle like this. If you move past my circle, I think, you know, we have a lot of work, you know, to do with our society. You know, last week, I think, or earlier this month, I read an article about a man who shot his wife with an air rifle and then stuffed her into one of those plastic drums because he was jealous and angry about something she did with somebody else. So, you know, we really... I'll share with you the article. It was like a dude took an air rifle and then just proceeded to do all of that because his wife like threatened to leave him or was seeing somebody else, etc., etc. So we actually, you know, we need to educate people outside of our circle, maybe, especially the youth, about the importance of, you know, gender equality and respect amongst each other. That I think that is a very important thing. Respect for one another.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just reading some of the messages on the side.
Who you can see? Where are they?
It's on your right hand side. It says comments. That's private.
It's on your right hand side. Okay. I'm gonna put one on screen, right? This is from Vanessa Gunn, right? Sexual harassment isn't taken seriously in Malaysia, unfortunately. Do you guys actually agree with this?
Yes.
Why is it so?
So since there's a resounding yes, let me go on the other side. I think there's a lot of multinational companies right now that have brought over their sexual harassment training and HR training into the country. So I remember the first time I was in a multinational, and because it was so foreign to me, And I was so used to having sexual harassment around me, meaning that we would always crack dirty jokes, and it was normal in a professional setting. We would always say these kinds of inappropriate things, whether it was commenting on someone's physical being or how good someone looked. Even commenting on how good someone looks is actually sexual harassment. So
Please,
when
you can
we were
comment on how
all
good I look all the time. I'm all right.
yeah, so as we were going through the training, to be honest, we were getting an education, but more than that, we were like, huh? That is sexual harassment? Huh? So it comes back to exactly what Natalie and Fabes are talking about. It's about that education process. It's about understanding where you draw the line, because some person can be offended about something and some person wouldn't be offended about something else. So always play it safe, right? And keep it professional. So it is being brought into Malaysia. Whether it's at the scale that we want it to be, of course not. But I think we need to acknowledge the steps that we are taking, the circles that Natalie is talking about, although small, it exists. Whereas last time it almost used to be non-existent, So I think, yes, we have work to do, but I also think we should celebrate all of the successes that we have had as well throughout the decades.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about sexual harassment, right? Since we're already on this topic, Vanessa actually put something here again. We all suffered from it at some point. Is it that bad? Because honestly, as a guy, I've never had any instances that it happened to me before. I don't know, is it because of my face? But yeah, but is it that rampant out there? I mean, amongst women?
No, we probably did, dude. It's just that we never felt it because
we know we look good. That's why.
Yeah.
I thought it was a compliment. I thought it was a compliment.
Same here, man. I was like, wow. I gotta write this day down.
I think some people will take it as a compliment. Sometimes it's like, okay lah, I take it as a compliment. But then after that, if it keeps going on and people just keep harping on the subject of like, X, Y, and Z about things that are particularly sexual, then it's like, you know what, stop. And then when you tell the person to stop, they don't stop. That just is even more annoying. And then, it becomes a problem. Most of the time, as human beings, we're just like, okay, let's just, choose to ignore that part. But when it becomes incessant, it's annoying. That's my opinion.
So Natalie and Fabes, you guys are communication coaches, right? You all do that too, right? So do you all actually educate people about gender equality and also sexual harassment? Do you do that?
I never do. I stick to the matter at hand, teaching you how to communicate. Well, I do effective communication, so it's really different. What I teach people is, this is free advertising. Woohoo! No, but what I do is I basically teach them the stuff that I've learned in the past 35 years being in this industry and things that work when you meet someone you've never seen before. How in the world do you create that bond between two people in 5 minutes so that both of you can understand each other? I mean, most people, when they meet people for the first time, they start asking questions, right? And then you might ask the wrong question, the person might feel offended, whatever. So that's the kind of thing I do. So I never get into that subject at all.
Mm-hmm. So Natalie, you don't too?
Yes, much like Fabes, I concentrate on the matter at hand, but I do try to raise awareness about it. I mean, I recently just started this business. So as a business owner, it's a struggle to keep creating content and trying to figure out things that you can put out to generate awareness about your brand. So that's what I've been trying to do, actually speak on the subjects that I feel strongly about and try to raise awareness about it as well through like YouTube channels or, on social media, et cetera, et cetera. So I did like a piece on sexual harassment and how you can use like public speaking skills to essentially confront your harasser. So I do speak about it, but I don't speak about it in my training because maybe at that point in time, I want to stick to the matter at hand, much like Fabes.
Okay. I mean, coming back to what we actually discussed about just now, women in leadership, right? Women that holds uh, positions in organizations, right? Do you think that a women, how can they help when they are in that position of power? How can they encourage other people or other women to voice up? Nisha, you used to be Fabes' boss,
Hmm.
right? So
A very
being in
good
the
one too. Huh? I'm not saying it
yeah.
because it's just here, so I'm saying it because it's real.
Okay, so being in that position, right? A position of power, right? How can you encourage women to voice up in an organization, people that works with you?
I think the best thing you can do is be a living example. You can preach all you want. You can talk about it all you want. But if you're not practicing it, then it really doesn't matter. People look at leadership by how you behave and how you sincerely and honestly treat people. And I think if you're sincere, um, and and what I or as a woman I strive for is always telling people that you're equal, not that you're man or you're woman, not that it's about your talent, it's about your individuality, it is about how you can thrive in a certain environment. So even with women, it is to let them be comfortable with who they are. If you are a timid woman, do not apologize for it, because there are strengths in that. If you are loud like me, do not apologize, because there's strengths in that too. But learning how to use that to your advantage, because like both Nat and Faith said, right? As a guy, a lot of the times you are commended for these things. If you are a bit more careful with your words as a man, you are wise, right? And you are thoughtful. If you're a girl, you're meek. If you're loud as a woman, you have PMS and you're emotional. If you are loud as a man in the workplace, you are take charge and you're a leader. So it's just making women comfortable in that leadership position and in that management position. You can say, hey, look at your male colleague who has similar traits to you, and look at the positivities that are coming out from that. You are exactly that as well, if not better in different aspects like A, B, C, and D. So it's mentoring, but it's just helping women see that, hey, you're just as great, because women as well, and this is a study, how sad is this, right? Men tend to ask for more raises and salary increments. Women tend to undervalue themselves, which is crazy, but so significant of how women behave in the workplace, because they've been told over and over and over again, you're not good enough. So
Because there's where education comes in.
yeah,
These women need to know where they stand, what they can do, how far they can go. Having a different way of running a business or being a boss or a leader doesn't mean it's wrong. That's what I was trying to say. It's
I
education.
think a great example of leadership would be the Prime Minister of New Zealand. To me, I feel like she is an exceptional leader. In my own opinion, she kind of gives the world a different kind of leadership where, like kindness is at the top of her agenda. If you look at her track record, it's amazing. The way that she's handling the COVID-19 pandemic, where, what she did was she voiced her concerns. She reassured her country, and as a leader, she brought her citizens together, and collectively they lowered the infection rate in New Zealand. So she is an exemplary leader and perfectly capable. Women are perfectly capable to run organizations and countries. In fact, just the other day, I think yesterday or the day before for Women's Day, I saw somebody post a quote on Instagram, and I think it said something like, if society can trust women to raise a family, society must trust women to raise a nation. So we are perfectly capable. And in fact, I think we probably are doing some of the jobs better than men can, if I may say so. Some of the jobs.
Yes, you may say so. I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact. It's not, it's not anything that you're making up. But yeah, so I agree with both of them. Absolutely.
So coming back to our country, coming back to our country, our leaders, and also uh, the organizations that you guys are in, right, or you all are in, right? What can be done? Okay, for example, if you are the leader of Malaysia or the CEO of your particular country organization, when it comes to gender equality, what would you do to improve that? Fabes, you want to go first? The women have been speaking
Okay.
a lot.
I think I kind of answered. I think I kind of jumped the gun a lot in this one, man. I kind of answered this question. I think at the very beginning. I think I would spend all that time I possibly could to educate people, especially women themselves. I do not, the thing you don't want to hear is a woman herself having doubt about her abilities, her strengths. Whenever somebody asks me, right, who's the one woman you look up to? Of course, apart from my mother and my wife, someone I don't know, and I always, without thinking, I always say Serena Williams. I call her Wonder Woman. I do talk sets about her on radio all the time. I see what she's up to. You know why? Because this woman is a Wonder Woman. Uh, Two African American girls, both sisters, in big white America, and look at where they have come. Okay, look at where they have come, how far they've come, and then at the same time to be able to raise a family. Do you know that Serena Williams had like a massive problem when she was delivering her child? She almost died. And then to come back into the world of tennis and then to run a business at the same time. If you read her story, I can't remember the whole story, but what I'm trying to say is that, she never doubted herself. I'm sure she did. I'm sure she had times where she was feeling very vulnerable. She doubted herself. Yes. But that's what I'm trying to say. It's education. If you know you can go there, then why not go there? That's what I would do if I was in a position that I would educate.
What would you do now?
Same with Fabes. I think we need education from the ground up. We need to kind of eliminate this mindset of boys do this and only do this and girls only do that. What really kind of irks me in a very simple example is when a boy cannot wash the dishes and a girl has to do it purely based on her sex. I find this really, really annoying. Like sometimes you would go to random houses and it's all the girls in the kitchen and the boys are sitting there on their phone. Like, we boys and girls have hands. It's a simple task. It's not difficult. So that's sort of equality, educating people with the mindset that, we need to respect each other and there needs to be equality in these sort of things. We also need to make sure that women are fairly treated in the process as well, given opportunities in education, in the workforce, employment, and even at home. So I think those are the things. But you need to do it from the ground up. Teach the young generation about these things.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I mean, it always starts with education, right? I mean, being in the country that we are in, right? Even sex education is like a taboo, or yeah, you can't even talk about that. Which I think is not supposed to be that way, right? So Nisha, what about you? How are you gonna change the world?
I think it's the same thing. You have to change minds, right? But the one thing I would add is that you don't have to take anything away from men. Men are just as capable. Men are just as amazing. You hear the stories of Serena Williams, but you hear the stories of so many men thriving through circumstances as well. And I think the conversation needs to be every time you fight for a woman, it doesn't mean you're anti-men. Every time that you're a feminist, it doesn't mean that you're against everything that a man does, It just means that there's strength in both, and just understanding that if we can have a male prime minister, we can have a female prime minister. We both, like Nat saying, we both have two hands. We both have one brain and we both have creativity. So it's to understand, look, we're not taking anything away from men when you celebrate and you give women opportunities. Just make sure it's an equal ground. That's all.
Amen.
Moving away from education, right? Moving away from educating from grassroots up. How do you think men can help in this cause? Nat, I'm gonna go to you last, Fabes.
Thanks. Shoot, I better write the points down.
How can men help?
How can men help? Super simple, maybe. Men need to just, support women at work and also at home. Women need to do the same towards men as well. It cannot be a one-sided support where the women are just like, okay, you support me or whatever. You need to support men as well. And I think, we will benefit greatly from a partnership between both sexes. Is it instead of one taking advantage and the other putting the other down, have a partnership between both of the sexes. If you look at studies, children with fathers who are involved are happier and healthier. Couples who share responsibilities have stronger marriages instead of one where it's like, oh, my wife only wash the dishes, I don't want to do anything. So a simple example. And men who support women at work, can maybe even try to outperform their peers. Diversity is probably going to produce better results. So I
love
think
that.
That's how you could actually get men to contribute. And if men contribute as well and fight for the cause of gender equality, they will also see that they can be more fluid as well, as what Nisha said. They don't have to fit into the stereotype of, I'm a man, I cannot cry. I'm a man, I cannot be hairdresser. So it's a fair thing for both sexes. Wow.
Nisha, what about you?
I love that, Natalie. Amazing. Well said.
Yeah, it's very well put, actually. Yeah, I guess I have to agree with Nat. It's all of that. I don't think I have anything to add, to be honest. It's just understanding that we can thrive together. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to share a little bit of a confession. A long time ago, before I met my husband, I vowed I would never marry an Indian man, simply because I thought all Indian men were chauvinistic. All Indian men, didn't know how to support women and the rest of it. Nat's talking about washing the dishes. My husband is an Indian man and does it all. Like, and we take everything as a partnership, and he supported me. His EQ is so much higher than mine, and it's those stereotypes. Women often think that men are misogynistic just by the get-go, but just look at the men in this chat room. In fact, I mean, the amount that even Fabes is championing women right now tells you something about the men in this movement and how it's so important that men get involved. That's my piece.
Nice.
Okay, Fabes, over to you, Fabes.
What was your question again?
You got your pointers ready already?
No, I'm just gonna say it like it is. I think what Natalie said, I agree. And as Nisha as well. I think, my wife and I, it's a partnership. We've been together for donkey years. It's a partnership. You have your ups and downs. I wash the dishes. I'm an Indian man. It was thanks to my wife. Being born as the eldest boy in an Indian family, somehow you get spoiled a little. But of course, when you get out into the real world, then you realize, you got to make your own coffee, you got to wash your own, plates or whatever. That's really important. What was the question again? Yeah, but yeah, men. What do men do? I really think from the get-go, because I saw a question as well that says, now I have a baby girl, and how am I going to inspire her, from one of the comments there. But I think from the get-go, whether it's a boy or a girl, that whole process of teaching them how to be fair and equal with the society around you, not necessarily just men or women, but you know what I mean? Because when you're brought up in a environment where people just give, and you take, and then at the end of the day, you try to give back, you don't know how, and then you get
Yeah.
lost. You know what I mean? And that's where I think a lot of problems start. You know, then so I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. But so I think what Natalie said pretty much wraps up the whole thing. It is
Yeah.
about sharing. It is about being a team. It is about understanding. I
think very
got out of
good.
that so quick. I thought I was going to go on forever.
I mean, this topic will never end. Basically, we have been talking about this for years. People have been championing this cause for many, many years. And I think if we continue talking and talking, it will never end. So before we end the session, right? Who wants to start with an advice to our viewers out there today?
Good
Right?
Lord, you tell me about this advice bit.
So what is a good advice you can tell all the women that is watching here today? How do they go through day to day? You know, if they are in a situation now where they feel that they are not being appreciated, or if they're in a situation where career-wise they think just because I'm a girl or I'm a woman, I can't move up or I can't climb the corporate ladder. What will be your advice be? Nisha, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think it's simple to say, harder to do. But it's three things, right? It's be inspired, be the change, and break free if you need to, right? Because once you're inspired and you have that thought and you already know what you want to change in that circumstance, then do it. You have all the capabilities to change that situation. And if people are holding you back, break free from those people, because believe me, you can strive and you can find people who will support you.
I think that's very good advice. Natalie, what will be your advice to the viewers out there today?
I think, if you're watching today, whether you're male or you're female, the tagline or the theme for this year's International Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. Whether you agree with the tagline or you don't agree with the tagline, challenge and, call out gender bias and gender inequality. Seek and maybe even celebrate women's achievements. And I guarantee you, as a woman, if somebody celebrates your achievements, 9 times out of 10, you are going to celebrate the person for doing that for you. Especially if you're a man. If you're a man and you actually celebrate it, we actually feel super happy because we're like, thank you for seeing me. So collectively, we can try to work together in a partnership, men and women, male and female, to build, an inclusive world, as you wrote in the little briefing there.
All right, thank you very much.
I didn't get no brief.
You didn't get no brief.
I got a PDF.
What about Fabes? What do you think will be your advice as a guy, to the viewers out there?
I mean, I think Nisha and Natalie said everything there is to say, but I would just like to add this, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, whatever you're trying to achieve in life, whatever goals you've set, wherever you're trying to head, whether it's fighting for others or for yourself, don't be discouraged by the negativity and the people around you that say things that especially women. Oh, you're a woman, you can't do this. You're a woman, you can't do that. I say just keep going. I think the only thing that you need to do is keep moving forward. You see how powerful this platform is, how powerful the day was, International Women's Day. Use that and keep moving forward. You keep moving forward. There's only one way that you're going to go, right up there. That's all I have to say. Peace.
Love that.
Very nicely done. So, once again, I would like to really thank the three of you for being here today. Thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for championing this cause. Thank you for really, like what Nisha said, easier said than done, right? So, like today, a lot of us, we understand each other more. We understand how we can actually help each other and also help this cause in terms of our circle or broader or in the marketplace, right? So once again, I would like to say thank you to all of you and enjoy your night. I know Nat is going out for dinner, right?
Yes, late dinner.
Yeah.
Enjoy your dinner, Natalie.
Fabes,
Sorry?
you not at dinner yet, Fabes?
No, not yet. But no, I said enjoy your dinner, Natalie, because we were having a conversation earlier about having dinner outside.
Yeah. Thank you. I will.
So
Hey,
thank
thank
you,
you so
everybody.
much, Edmund, for having me and and all of us as well, giving us this platform. Amazing.
Yeah, definitely there will be more to come. So I hope when I call, you will say, okay. So I will see you guys again. Have a good rest of the evening. Stay safe. All right. Thank you very much. See ya.
Bye.
Okay, for all our viewers out there, thank you for staying with us until the end, right through until the end. Thank you for being here with us. Kingdom Coffee Talk is here every Wednesday from 8:30 all the way to 9:30. We talk about different things. We do different activities. Last week we had a yoga session, and we even talk. Next week, I think we're gonna talk a little bit about Hari Raya. So stay tuned to our Facebook page. Stay tuned to our Instagram page to know our topics, and please like and share the video and share it with all your friends. Just to wrap up this year's theme, right? Hashtag choose to challenge. So basically, a challenge world is an alert world. So we are all responsible for our own thoughts and action every single day, and we can choose to challenge and call out gender inequality. So all of us can help this cause, and I believe all of you will as well. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and I will see you all again next week. So make sure like our page, share with your friends, and encourage them to join us as well. So thank you very much. I'm Edmund Chaw. I'm gonna sign off. Bye.